I spent like 2 hours resetting the camera because it wouldn't work today. And I don't know if I look better or worse. I think I kind of look like a bloated alcoholic right now, but I don't know. I'm too pinky. I'm too fleshy. There's too much flesh going on. What's up, everybody? It's Welcome to Blumhouse Day. That's right. Blumhouse is releasing 4 movies, I think, in October. Technically, horror movies is what they're saying they are, but I don't know if that's exactly true. First up, we've got The Lie. This is a movie that premiered at TIFF in 2018. I guess it got picked up by Blumhouse there, or maybe Blumhouse produced the whole thing. I don't really know. It was originally called Between the Earth and the Sky. Now, I go to a lot of film festivals, if you've seen this channel, and a thing that happens quite often is I watch a mediocre thriller or just like a mediocre movie in general, and it never sees the light of day. And if it does, it's deep on VOD. But this is a large release. This is Amazon Prime streaming video. It's Blumhouse. They're really like promoting it as like a thing. This is an event. This is an event movie. And they start out with this one called The Lie. I think the biggest problem with this is that this isn't a horror movie at all. It's at best a thriller, but it's mostly just a drama. I guess that is the power of good marketing, is that you can just bundle up this with a bunch of horror movies and be like, this is a horror movie, right? This is a horror movie. You're going to watch it because it's Blumhouse and it's Amazon and we're putting something cool together. This is marketing. Because otherwise, this would have just been dropped on VOD or maybe got a short run in theater and no one would have saw it. No one would have cared about it. I do think the strategy to offload the shit you don't want onto streaming services works pretty well most of the time if you just want to get eyes on it, which is clearly what they're doing here. So this is a movie based on a German film called We Monsters. This is the American remake, written and directed by Vina Sud. Essentially, what happens in this movie is at the beginning of the film, there's the father, his name is Jay, there's the daughter, Kayla, and her friend Brittany, and they're going to some sort of dance camp in the woods. Brittany says to pull over, she has to take a piss. They go out into the woods. The dad's like, where the fuck are they? What's taking so long? When he gets there, he sees his daughter crying, and she's like, I didn't mean to push her. I didn't know that she was going to fall in. And he comes to the conclusion that she murdered her friend in the river because she was being a bitch. Sometimes you just gotta murder someone in the river because they're being a bitch. This snowballs into a bigger and bigger lie. I guess that's most of it. The theme of this movie is kind of how you'll do anything to protect your children. You've got Peter Sarsgaard as the dad. He's okay. The acting's mostly not very good, but I think it maybe comes down to the dialogue being fucking horrific, and I don't know if it's because it's like a vague translation of the German film or what, but boy is that dialogue fucking shitty. There's a part where the mother, who's divorced, she finds out that Jay didn't take the daughter to the camp and is like, she's nothing but a little spoiled brat because you let her get away with everything. And it's like dialogue like that all the time, and it's like, nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like this. There's a bird outside fucking dancing on the internet cable. Hopefully it doesn't go out. Hopefully the internet doesn't go out because there's a bird fucking on the cable shaking the internet cable. So they decide as a family, these are the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet, by the way. They decide as a family that they're going to try and cover up the accident and not talk about it. But more than that, the father of Brittany, the girl that died, his name is Sam. They're like, we're gonna blame Sam for this. So we're gonna go down to the police station and be like, we think this Sam person hits his daughter. We haven't seen the daughter in a while. Maybe they should file a missing persons. Maybe they should investigate it. And they do it in such a terrible manner that it's like, so obvious they're gonna get caught. The cops initially investigate these leads and almost immediately find out that they're probably lying and that something fucked up is going on. And they're so obvious about it. Every time Sam comes to the house to ask about where his daughter is, they don't let him talk to Kayla or anything, and they're just being so obvious that something fucked up's happening. And this takes up so much of the movie. As you can see, this isn't a horror movie at this point. It is just a drama about them trying to figure out how they're going to get away with this murder. And I think we're going to get into spoiler territory here, but you shouldn't watch this movie anyway. It's quite bad. The whole time that they're trying to frame this guy for murder, the tension keeps rising and rising to the point where they just accidentally kill him now. So they're just killing everybody. It's like, how the fuck do you think you're going to get away with this? It doesn't make any fucking sense. And then there's this big reveal. I am going to spoiler this movie. So if you want to skip to the next review, that's probably what you should do if you want to see this movie. But the reveal is that Brittany didn't die all along. Brittany didn't die. It was all like a ruse by Kayla and Brittany so that she could go see her boyfriend for a week or whatever. It doesn't make any fucking sense why she would lie about this. And then she's like, I only lied about it because you guys were together again and you weren't divorced and it was like the old days. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. This movie's so fucking stupid, dude. You fucking killed a guy for some reason. What? What's even going on in this movie? This is like this is very clearly a 1 star. Not the legendary half star, and the only reason I'm not giving it a half star is because it's very well shot. Like, competently made movie, for sure. Just the dialogue is terrible. The script is mediocre at best. There is something to that, probably, but you'd have to make the daughter more of a sociopath to make this movie interesting. That's the thing. Like, make the daughter more of a sociopath. And they try to a little bit. They try to, like, make it seem like she isn't taking murdering her friend very hard. Seems like she's doing it very lightly, but they just don't get into it enough. They spend so much time with Sarsgaard just fucking wandering around, doing nothing, you know? So that's The Lie. I don't think I really want to talk about that one anymore, but next up, we've got Black Box. Now, Black Box is certainly better than The Lie. It's still not great. But it's certainly much better than The Lie. So Black Box, it's kind of an interesting movie. It's got an all-black cast. It's about a guy that was in a car wreck. His wife passed away. He's looking after his daughter, but he still has bouts of amnesia. His brain not working good. Brain no worky good. So he goes back to the hospital, and they try to do some experimental kind of memory and brain experiments on him. They kind of strap him into this VR glasses, and the Dr. Brooks is this older lady that's like, this is going to help you remember things, and they go into this weird world where all of the people's faces are blurry, and she's like, you just got to keep trying until you remember what's going on. And he like ends up at his wedding. He ends up like seeing when his daughter was younger. One thing that is persistence is there's this scary like it looks kind of like, we've been watching the Grudge movies. It kind of looks like the Grudge chick walking down the stairs, but it's like another guy that's in all of these memories. And he's like, what is this? It's scary. And this movie, actually, I would consider this one a horror. It's more of a sci-fi horror, but it is, in fact, a horror, unlike The Lie, which is just straight up not a horror movie. So as our main character, Nolan, is trying to figure out what happened and why he can't remember things, he's trying to piece things together. He tells his brother about all these memories that start to come back to him, and he agrees with him until they get to this one memory where he's like, do you remember us living in an apartment? And he's like, no, I don't think you guys lived in an apartment. That's where they start putting things together, that maybe these aren't his memories. And that's where I think this movie gets really good. And then then they kind of go into like the twist mode that isn't very good for a long time, and like the twist is like pretty early in the movie. I'm gonna spoil this one also, so sorry if you haven't seen these movies yet. I actually would recommend you go watch Black Box, because it is certainly worth a watch. It is very much a Black Mirror episode, but I think pretty well executed. So the midpoint reveal is that Dr. Brooks, the lady that's in charge of the experiment, actually injected her son's brain into Nolan when he was in that coma. So this whole time that he's been living outside of the coma after his car crash, it actually hasn't been him in there. It's been her son Thomas the whole time. So that's when you introduce this new character, and he kind of takes over and realizes, oh shit, I got to figure out what's going on. I'm now in this body. He goes to his ex-wife. He realizes that she's kind of erased him from her life, he starts to remember that he was like abusive and shit to her. Like he wasn't like a good person at all. And he starts to remember that. And as he's in there, he realizes that all of those memories weren't Nolan's after all. They were always his. But this is like the fun moral dilemma about this movie. Cause I get why they tied it with The Lie, because these are both about doing whatever you can for your child. And this is a mother trying to do whatever she can to bring back her son. However, at the expense of this man's life, Nolan, who they're just erasing from existence. Eventually, you find out the creepy crawly guy is Nolan. I think it becomes pretty obvious, especially as soon as you figure out that Thomas is actually the person in control, that Nolan is the creepy guy trying to get his body back. And I think it does do a good job of that, where Thomas realizes he doesn't deserve another chance at life. He already wasted his, and the reason he died is because he was beating the shit out of his wife and fell down the stairs, you know? He realizes this, and he's like, I guess I'll give Nolan back his body. And like, that is the interesting moral dilemma about this. Should you give it a go? And I guess it's never really explained who takes over the body at the end, because they're in a fight, and you never actually find out. There is the chance that Thomas is pretending to be Nolan to give himself another chance at life. It's one of those things where it's like, it is kind of ambiguous, and I like that it ends like that. So like I said, this one is much better than The Lie. The visuals are really cool, especially when they're in the VR thing and the creepy crawly guy and everybody's face is blurred. It's got all the classic like scary shit to it, and ends up being a very, very easy watch in my opinion. It's not the best horror movie in the world, but I definitely think this one is interesting. And I think if you're going to watch any of these Welcome to the Blumhouse movies, this is definitely the one to watch out of these two at least. We'll talk about the other ones when they come out. But for now, this one's getting a 3 stars. All right, everybody, so if you have any comments about these Blumhouse movies, if you think The Lie is a horror or not, leave it in the comments below. I'll get back to you on that. Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some more horror reviews.
Why don't you play us something, baby? Why don't you play us something, baby?
I don't feel so good.